Department to get security clearance. It's a requirement for them to access evidence in his federal case. The judge overseeing it, Eileen Cannon, told Trump's legal team that they had to get in touch with the DOJ by today. With us now to get some perspective is Jamil Jaffer. He's the founder and executive director of the National Security Institute at the Antonin Scalia Law School at George Mason University. Jamil, thanks so much for being with us. Take us inside this process of getting security clearance for these attorneys. What's the significance of this step?
Well, obviously, it's critical that they have security clearance because the documents that the president is charged with having possessed unlawfully and retained are top secret, sensitive, compartmented information. That means they'll need not just a top secret clearance, but additional clearances beyond that, including potentially access to special access programs, which allows them to see all the documents that the president is charged with withholding from the federal government.
It's interesting that the judge made the deadline Friday after he was arraigned on Tuesday. It says something about the timing here, doesn't it? What do you think of her approach?
It does appear that the judge wants to move this along, wants to ensure that the attorneys are going to the Justice Department, getting the process started. These clearances can take months to get, and so that may take a while because not only do you have to conduct a 10-year background check, you'd have to run all that down, interview people and the like. And so getting these kind of security clearances takes a while. The judge clearly wants that to happen quickly.
So back to that process, it is extremely thorough. You noted they have to interview folks that know you and basically vouch for your, how would you describe it, your character as a U.S. citizen?
Your trustworthiness. Remember, the whole idea is that you don't want to be giving security clearances to people that are likely to give it to somebody else, handle it inappropriately, as some might argue happened here, and the like. And so you want to make sure that the people you're giving clearances to can be trusted with the information. That's oftentimes why defendants in these type of cases get lawyers who already have security clearances. That's something the president probably is looking into. But as we know, he's had some challenges getting a lawyer to represent him.
And I wanted to ask you about that because right now he is reportedly looking for more lawyers, more defense attorneys in the South Florida area. Obviously, they would need security clearances as well. In the meantime, you have this reporting that he's had issues with attorneys in the past, one of them leaving a couple of cases that he was involved in. So what kind of attorney should Trump be looking for here?
In an ideal world, he'd find an attorney that had an existing security clearance, that has litigated cases involving classified information before. There are a lot of lawyers out there who've represented people like Chelsea Manning, Edward Snowden and the like in these matters before. So there are lots of attorneys with security clearances. The question is, can the president find one that's willing to represent him? He's had trouble keeping attorneys in part because, as we've seen, even in this case, his attorneys have had to waive the privilege because of this crime fraud, or have had a problem with it because of the crime fraud exception, where he's saying to them, at least as the Justice Department alleges, hey, maybe we don't have these documents, maybe they're not here, maybe they got lost. That's a challenge for an attorney because the attorney-client privilege doesn't protect that kind of behavior.
You're referring to Evan Corcoran, of course, whose testimony may wind up playing a big role in this case. On the question of Trustee, though, the attorney that just dropped out of this civil matter with CNN, what do you make of him dropping out of not only that case, but also the classified documents one?
Well, we don't know why he dropped out of the classified documents case. What we do know is in the CNN case, he indicated to the court that he and the president have irreconcilable differences. Who knows what that means? But, the president oftentimes has taken the view that he's his own best lawyer. He's out there oftentimes talking about things in public that may make it harder to defend him. That may be why. If your client doesn't take your advice, it can be a real challenge for a lawyer.
Fair to say that he has a history as a challenging client?
I think that, it's on his face, we can see that.
Jamil Jaffer, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it as always. Brianna?
As states like Oregon have begun to prescribe psychedelic mushrooms to treat some mental health issues, a CNN reporter takes his own long, strange trip to experience the effects firsthand. What he saw and how he feels now, just ahead on CNN News Central.
Sometimes you're so busy taking care of everyone else, you don't do enough for yourself or your mouth. But eventually it will remind you. When it does, Aspen Dental is here for you. We offer the custom dental treatments you need all under one roof right nearby, so we can bring more life to your smile and more smile to your life, affordably. New patients without insurance can get a free complete exam and x-rays and 20% off treatment plans. Aspen Dental, anything to make you smile. Schedule your appointment today.
There are more ways than ever for identity thieves to steal your information. LifeLock alerts you and works to fix problems with a dedicated restoration specialist. Go to LifeLock.com.
Generalized myasthenia gravis made my life a lot harder. But the picture started changing when I started on Vivguard.
Vivguard is for adults with generalized myasthenia gravis who are anti-AChR antibody positive. In a clinical trial, Vivguard significantly improved most participants' ability to do daily activities when added to their current GMG treatment. Most participants taking Vivguard also had less muscle weakness.
And your Vivguard treatment schedule is designed just for you.
In a clinical study, the most common side effects included urinary and respiratory